Hey everybody, this is Brad. I'm from the show Not a Clue Podcast, also Big Bad Brad's Power Hour of Love. I'm doing something different. I'm trying to get used to basic video editing. As you can see, I'm on a video. You can see my face instead of seeing or hearing me behind the scenes. I am doing a recap show of wrestling tonight just to basically get used to this stuff because I need to expand Not a Clue Podcast, and this is the best way I think I could do it. So let's do this. So they started out the show bringing out Roman Reigns, which was great to see, for the record. My personal dislike for his character and everything aside, it was amazing to see him come out and declare himself in remission, and it was great. It was a great moment that he, hugged his wife, his mother. I want to say it's his mother-in-law was the other person there, but it was really great. It was really great to see that, and it was a great moment. It's one of those feel-good moments, and it was also really great that Seth Rollins met him at the top. The only downfall I had of it was Ambrose wasn't there to either throw a wrench in things or just to solidify everything and have the Shield do one more again, just kick it up a notch, we'll just say, or have him basically before his time, which I think is still coming to an end. There still hasn't been a clarification 100% on this about him officially going out, but still, it would be great. It would have been great to see it. That's all I'm going to say for that. So that was a great way to start off Raw. So yeah, it's great to see him back, and I'm glad that he's in remission. Regardless whether I did or did not like his character, it's still really great to see. Really is. The first actual match of the night was Aleister Black and Ricochet taking on the Revival. And I'm a fan of all four of those guys. I'm a fan of the Revival. Big fan of the Revival. Huge fan of Ricochet and Aleister Black. I will also state it now. The NXT brand has been my favorite for a while now compared to the other ones in the WWE. It wasn't a long match at all. It was really quick. Some sloppy moments happened in it, but overall, I am very happy that they are pushing the new NXT guys into the frame rapidly, and I'm very, very happy. We'll just say very happy. Terrible segment I just said there, but Aleister Black and Ricochet, I'm glad got a win over the Revival, although it would have been better for me. I'm going to do fantasy writing sometimes in the middle of this. It would have been better for the Revival to get like a cheap shit win, just for just to keep like something going between them two. If the Revival do end up leaving, they have someone to pass it on to type deal. It might not have to be them per se, but just sets that seed in. You know what I mean? Like almost like, oh my God, we lost. We got to tuck our tails and get the hell out of here type moment. So that's my thought on that match. I have to throw this in here really quick. I absolutely love when Elias is a heel. He's so much better as a heel. Him as a face, I didn't like it. Him insulting the crowd that's where Elias needs to be, not as a face. He needs to be a straight up heel. And insulting the Atlanta crowd by saying that they can host a Super Bowl, they'll just not win one. That was great. Him with his sports stuff, yeah, good stuff. Also, if this is Ambrose's swan song with them, like I said before, I like that they're giving him, it looks like a little bit of rope. Natalya and Ronda Rousey took on Sarah Logan and Ruby Riott of the Riot Squad next, and the match really wasn't that entertaining to me. There was a snippet that happened in the match that I want to talk about before I talk about what happened afterwards for a second. There was a line that Renee threw in there, like way after everything else, saying that Natalya is the Queen of Hearts, and that made me go. That sparked my for a second fantasy right moment. That to me set the seed, in my opinion, in my just eye, and of Shayna Baszler. Hear me out for a second. They're doing all these call-ups, and Shayna is due most likely to come up soon because multi-time women's NXT champion, probably one of the better female wrestlers going right now, especially heel. Like they need genuine heels. Like they're forcing heels into things. Shayna Baszler is a genuine heel, and that's a good way to break her onto the roster, putting her in a match with Natalya. Basically, the Queen of Spades and the Queen of Hearts going against each other. There's that little me in there. Now for what happened at the end, which caused a disqualification. So technically, the Riot Squad, the Riot Squad lost to Natalya and Rousey because of outside interference from Becky Lynch. You saw this coming a mile away. I know I did, but still always great to see because that whole Stone Cold scenario of the arresting and everything, that happened. She got arrested, brought up, hauled away. The only thing I'm telling you this also there is more things that could happen with that. I haven't made it that far. I am literally watching segments, giving my opinion on it, and then I'm pausing the show and still going. So there could be something that happens after the commercial break. So if it does, you're going to see a quick little right after this coming into the next segment. So it's very Stone Coldy, but pay attention to that snippet of the Queen of Spades or the Queen of Hearts upsetting the Queen of Spades. It's personal opinion, fantasy writing. I say these things that I do here, which if this goes over well, I'll be doing this a lot more. There will be a lot of fantasy writing, like what I would love to see, which most likely won't come true, but I would love to see it as me being the writer. That's how this goes. That's what you do. Update. Rousey went back to the ring when it came back. I just totally shook this thing, so sorry for the wee. Rousey came back to the ring and called out Vince, which was interesting. But Stephanie came out, and they talked for a little bit. Rhonda said she demanded, the reinstating of Becky Lynch. She didn't get her wish, basically, and Steph pushed back hard, and Rousey then kicked back and said that the fans wanted a triple threat. I'm backing up now. That she wanted Becky in the thing to make a triple threat, which is basically, I think, what the WWE wanted all along. They just had to go about it this direction, in my opinion. Again, my opinion, not anybody else's, my opinion. And with that, basically what this means is, in the end, it's going to be a triple threat, which anybody who's paid attention, that's pretty much what everybody has said. That's how this works. But going also back to what I said before about the Queen of Hearts, Queen of Spades thing, I thought of this as I was watching this segment because even though Rousey is a huge babyface and everything, she has the means to be a really good heel, and her and Shayna Baszler are considered the other four horsemen. She was the four horsemen. If you pay attention to wrestling, you know what I'm talking about. Which to me sets up another thing all at the same time. So I could be wrong. Again, comment in the sections, just because I love hearing everybody's reaction to this. Please don't be vicious and vile about it. Honest opinions, honest responses is what I'm looking for. This way, debate goes on between wrestling fans, blah blah blah. But that's one thing that I think could happen in the end. I'm not saying right away. I'm saying either at the end of WrestleMania, after WrestleMania, somewhere down the line, like a SummerSlam thing. It's going to be where Natalya gets turned on by Rousey and Baszler, who's there in an angle with Natalya because of that whole card deck references, I'll say. and that's how Rousey becomes a heel. I could see this happening because right now everything they're doing to try to push Rousey as a face isn't happening so well. Like, she got a decent response, but the crowd didn't know what the hell to say. Like, half the crowd was booing, half the crowd was cheering. And I know how the past has, if it's any indication, the WWE is trying to, even because the pushing isn't working, like goading in a direction. Basically WrestleMania is going to be the ending of it, I think, and you're going to see the slow turn of Ronda Rousey. Personal opinion. Again, comment in the sections below. I want to hear it. So next was Jinder Mahal coming out saying that it was basically bullshit. He didn't get invited to the 70th birthday of Ric Flair, which that's the undertone of the whole thing. I don't even think I've mentioned it until now. Like, they've shown Shawn Michaels, Johnny Gargano. They've shown Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. They say the person who came out when when Jinder Mahal was saying he wasn't invited, it was bullshit. He didn't say bullshit. I'm saying bullshit. That he challenged anybody who was at the party, and Kurt Angle came out, so we know he's at the party. Kurt Angle came out, beat him. It wasn't a long match, pretty short. So it's basically a time filler. It's basically a card filler, however you want to word this. So that match really was nothing. Really was. I don't even know why I recorded a mini segment about it. Well. So next was a Moment of Bliss. Alexa Bliss came out and she actually said good riddance to Ronda, who left, and put the title down before she left. She said good riddance to her, and if the McMahons needed somebody that basically was a team player and would be there for WrestleMania, they knew how to get a hold of her. And then she brought out her guest, who was Finn Balor. She kind of flirted with him a little bit. She was going to entice him with showing him something of hers if he removed the belt so that you could see the 700 pack that the man has. Man's got some killer abs. I'm not going to lie. Killer abs. They're great. My big ass gut. No, I almost had abs a couple of years ago, and then injuries happened. And yeah, anyway, not my story. But then Lio Rush came out, interrupted. As always, someone interrupts Moment of Bliss. And said that he was going to win the title back for Bobby. And Finn basically said, oh, so you're coming out here to say you're better than Bobby to Lio. It turned into a match between the two of them. So the funny part was Lio was on his way down. He started getting his music, and they cut it off to Finn's music. The match actually wasn't that bad. It was a really good match. Lio Rush isn't a terrible competitor at all. People think he's a laughing stock because he's because he looks like this cup. Ooh, let's not do it that way. He looks like this cup next to Bobby Lashley. Like, Bobby Lashley is like the size of this, and here's Lio. Like, that's Lio Rush right there. So people think he's a laughingstock, and they don't take him so seriously. He's actually a pretty good wrestler. And Finn and him put on a really good show. I thought that was a really good match. Finn got the win. I don't know if they're gonna keep the hurt leg going or if it's just like a one-off thing. But yeah, it was a good match. I actually enjoyed that match. So, and then in the locker room they showed they showed they showed the Ascension, and Otis Dozovich was not present at the time, and they were making fun of him. And then he came up, and I think he's hilarious. I think Heavy Machinery is funny as hell, and basically all the stuff that they were saying to make fun of him, he got it to say to his face, and it was just hilarious. I think they're funny. I really do. I hope they get more of a push, or more of it, even just being shown. I don't care how. They're funny. Just personal opinion. Let me know in the comments below if you like them or not. And then we had, it was supposed to be Braun Strowman versus Bobby Lashley. And I'm not going to take too much time on this because literally it was just a handful of minutes. The match never even started. It was thrown out right from the get-go. The biggest thing was the whole Bobby Lashley yelling at Lio Rush prior, telling him that it should have been for him. He sent him out there. He had one job. Can he trust him? Blah, blah, blah. The long and the short of it is Lashley attacked Strowman right when he got into the ring. And what happened was he beat him up for about a couple of minutes. Then Strowman turned the table on him, and when he went to the outside, he did his little run around, and the shoulder tackle, shoulder block into Bobby Lashley. Lio Rush at that point got out of the way, and then Strowman went back and hit him. But there's a part of me that the only thing that's really going to come out of this, besides Braun Strowman saying, "I'm never going to forget, I'm going to take down all three of you," is the little get out of the way that Leo did. I have a feeling that's going to be the straw that broke the camel's back, or it's going to add on to it to make the thing break, to make the, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. It's going to add on to it is basically the best case scenario. Worst case scenario is that's the end of it, and then they're going to basically, the Fastlane is going to be the end of the whole shebang. So, or WrestleMania, however they break that up, but still. That was it. I'm honestly, I'm tired of seeing Braun Strowman. I really am. I'm tired of him. That's just my opinion. Are you tired of him? Do you still like him? Comment below. So earlier in the show, I intentionally left something out because I knew it was going to come back toward the end. So I waited on the Baron Corbin backstage interview where Charlie said that Charlie was saying, "Hey, remember when you said basically a bunch of bad things about Roman Reigns when the whole leukemia thing came out, blah, blah, blah." Don't have to rehash anything that was said. But basically he said Roman's not going to want to cross paths with him is basically what he said. Fast forward to the part I just watched. Everybody else is done watching it an hour ago, or 2 hours ago now. I am behind because I do a show called Not a Clue Podcast, which is on usually 6:15-ish on Monday night, Spreaker.com/show/Not a Clue Podcast. Also through this channel. And it was Dean Ambrose also earlier in the show came out and interrupted Elias. And I knew that this would come back later, so that's why I didn't talk about that earlier. It's all intertwining, if you could tell. And when he came out and said that he wanted to take on Drew McIntyre in a no disqualification match, and then Elias tried hitting him. He did the dirty deeds to Elias. Fast forward to this part that I just saw, like I said, and they had a no disqualification match. Basically, about 9 million belt whips came out. So if you're somebody who was beaten with a belt, you might not have liked this match because there was a lot of belt beating. Also, then when they got to the outside, Elias came out, hit Ambrose with a guitar, threw him back into the ring. McIntyre got up, got in his face, and he just kind of said, "Here you go, it's all yours." And he then delivered a Claymore kick. Claymore kick connected, and he got the win on Ambrose. And then Baron Corbin's music instantly hit, and Baron Corbin and Bobby Lashley came out. They stopped at Elias, basically said, "Hey, do you want to come with us?" They all went into the ring. They started kicking the crap out of Ambrose. Rollins' music hits. Rollins comes out with a chair. And then as he's at the top of the ramp, Roman Reigns' music hits. Roman Reigns then comes out with him, which is great to see. Again, not a huge fan of Roman Reigns, but love seeing him back in action because that's awesome. He's beating it again. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I'm going to stress that again. Happy for the man, happy for his family, happy for the WWE family. Awesome. Came out. He Superman punched Lashley on the outside. Corbin got taken out by Rollins. They went into the ring. They did the curb stop on Elias. Superman punch again on Lashley. Superman punch on McIntyre. Then a spear to McIntyre. Then they walk up, and as they're leaving, Ambrose is standing up in the ring. They left him behind. They stop and stare at him. something's going to happen. I don't know whether it's later on. If it is, I'll talk about it again. If not, it's going to be like next week or leading up into WrestleMania, blah, 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 now that Roman Reigns is back. So, anyway, that was that segment. Keep going with those comments. Next was Nia Jax versus Bayley. I'm not going to talk much about it because I think wasn't much of a match to me. Basically, it's a weird match to look at because of the size of Nia and the size of Bayley. It's basically like Lio Rush going against a Bobby Lashley. Since I used it earlier, there you go. But Bayley holds her own always. She's a good wrestler. Nia Jax is, I think, overrated. Sorry if you disagree with me, let me know. If you agree with me, let me know. But basically, the long and the short of it of this one was Bayley got the win. Actually, no real outside interference, which is weird. I would have expected loads of outside interference from Tamina, but no, she really didn't. I was happy it went that way. But Bayley picks up the win, and yeah. Next segment, I think, is what I saw coming up, just as the thing was going to commercial, was the Flair Celebration. Let's see what they had in store for us there. All right, Raw's final segment of the night was the celebration of Ric Flair. It was awesome seeing like Ricky Steamboat come out, Sting come out. Kurt Angle was on earlier in the show, but it was still nice seeing him because it was also great seeing the wrestlers in the back doing the "You Suck." I thought that was awesome. That hit me here. That hit me in the wrestling heart. Also, Triple H obviously was the one that was out there, did a whole vignette about him. Steph was out there. Shit, I'm missing somebody. There was Ricky Steamboat, Sting. Oh, HBK. I forgot about HBK because he was shown earlier in the thing. But anyway, they called him out, didn't show up, music stopped. They went to the back, and as a surprise, Batista was there. Dave Batista. So he attacked Flair, dragged him literally by his collar out for about good 50 feet, stopped, and yelled, "Hunter, do I have your attention now?" And Hunter ran to the back. Batista was gone. They yelling for a doctor. Show ended. I was like, well, that's old. That was one of those endings like older WWE where you were like, oh shit, I want to see more, because that was actually really nice. It was a throwback type ending in my opinion to Raw, basically of the Monday Night War era when Nitro and Raw were battling each other all the time. So now I'm going to say like the stars of the night and stuff. So I'm going to go to the next little blip and you will see that. The stars of the night I'm going to do, it's, I don't know if I'm going to do this all the time. It's from my first ever attempt at this. For the first attempt, I'm going to do 3 stars. The third star, the second star, and the first star. So, before the ending of that segment, I was super set on my 3. My honorable mention is going to be Dave Batista, since he moved his way in, because I was like, oh, so I'm seeing a Triple H versus Batista type match, maybe with Flair as a ref or something or other, blah blah blah, something along those lines. But anyway, now to the actual stars. The number 3 star of the night, I'm going to give that one. Sorry, I'm going to give the 3rd star of the night to Ricochet and Aleister Black. I thought they put on a really good performance as always. They do a fantastic job. They do a really good job. I also like the Revival, as I said earlier. So they're my number 3 star of the night. Excuse me. My number 2 star of the night is going to go to. This is going to be weird saying this because I'm not the biggest fan of, but she is. People are giving her crap, but I like that she seems to have more genuine emotion than the acting ones. I'm going to give it to Rousey, just due to the fact of how they're playing this out and how they're doing this. I am stone serious when I say this. She doesn't get the credit that I think she deserves. She's caught on to this business in a year. 1 year. She does a lot more things than I expected. There are people who have been in the business a handful of years that still can't do what she does. Her weakest thing is the microphone, because she pumps herself up, but I like that because it seems more genuine. Personal opinion again. That's just my personal opinion. That is this guy's opinion. My number one star of the night is a double again. It's the match that Lio Rush and Finn Balor had. Finn Balor prevailed, as I said earlier, but it was a really good match. I honestly want to see more of Lio Rush wrestling. Not on 205 Live. I want to see him wrestle guys like Finn Balor or Ricochet or even Aleister Black, like guys who aren't gargantuan, bulky dudes. I want to see him with normal, like a Seth Rollins, even. He's not a bulky dude. I want to see him wrestle guys like that, just to see, because he always impresses me, almost always impresses me, because his matches that he's had with like Akira Tozawa on 205 Live and stuff like that have been really good. He's a good wrestler. So those are my stars of the night with the honorable mention. So thank you if you're still listening to this, watching this, whatever the hell you're doing with it. I'm Brad from Not a Clue Podcast. You can find us Monday nights for our normal sports show, which we did earlier tonight. Technically now yesterday, because it's after midnight now. But it's at Spreaker.com/show/Not a Clue Podcast. You can find all this stuff at the bottom, below the video. You'll find all of it there in the info. Facebook.com/Not a Clue Podcast. On Twitter at Not a Clue Pod, Instagram at Not a Clue Podcast. Subscribe to this channel, for the love of God. Please subscribe to this channel, because I'll be trying to do more things to flavor up the podcast. So, we also have an email, notacluepodcast@yahoo.com, if you want to do that. But honestly, get a hold of us here. Please comment below on everything that you've heard here tonight. Check out older videos. Hope to see you guys again soon. Again, thank you so much for tuning in to this. So thank you for my Raw recap from Not a Clue Podcast. Brad.